All right, so real quick, I want to go over some observations from OTAs day one, phase three today. And I want to first start with guys that were not present today at OTAs. Y'all probably have already seen the guys who were not present today at OTAs day one, phase three. But if you have not, those guys were wide receiver Terry McLaurin, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, and tackle Laramie Tunsil. So Terry McLaurin not being there, I mean, makes sense, right? It's understandable. He wants a new contract, and I'm still super confident that that contract is going to get done. Like, they understand Terry's worth. I mean, he and Jaden were the heart and soul of our offense last year. Without them, really without Jaden, we were nothing. But, I mean, without Terry, too. I mean, Terry had 13 touchdowns last year, right? 16 if you include the 3 in the playoffs as well. So he was just so good for us last year, and they understand his worth, and they're going to get a deal done with him. I'm not worried about that at all, but he is doing, I guess you could say, a holdout right now, but I'm confident that they'll get the deal done before training camp, and that's not for another 2 months, right? So I'm confident that they are going to get the deal done with Terry. Now, as for Lattimore and Tunsil, super interesting that they're not there now. I want to start with Tunsil because this is not anything new with him. He doesn't really attend OTAs like with the Texans, and Texans reporters, a lot of people, or I would say some people inside the Texans building or around the Texans have said that Laramie Tunsil isn't really a leader. Now, he doesn't have to be a leader, but some people around the Texans organization have said that he isn't a big leader on the team, right? Which, that's fine. He doesn't have to be a leader, but he was not present at OTAs today, and I haven't really seen him in any of the pictures the team has posted so far throughout spring practices, OTAs. So if he's not there, then that would not be a surprise to me at all because, I mean, he's done this every year, right? He doesn't really attend OTAs. Don't think he really attends spring practices until it's mandatory. So I'm not too concerned about Laramie Tunsil. I do know that he only has 2 years left on his deal, so he may want a new contract, but he's probably not here today because, I mean, he just does not attend OTA practices because, one, they're voluntary, so you don't have to participate in them, and two, he may just be doing his own thing, right? Like, some players decide to do their own thing during OTAs and then show up for mandatory minicamp, which is when I think Laramie Tunsil will finally show up to the facility and participate in practice. And then Marshawn Lattimore, like I said, was not present as well today, and that's kind of a surprise to me. I have also not seen him in any OTA photos thus far that the team has posted, so he nor Laramie Tunsil have really shown up, and like Laramie Tunsil, he may be a guy who just doesn't, attend OTAs like that. He doesn't attend spring practices until they're mandatory minicamp. That's in early June, so I'm confident that those two guys will be there because if you don't show up to mandatory minicamp, well, you'll get fined, and those guys don't want to lose money, right? But, it would have been nice to see Marshawn Lattimore participate in OTAs because, he wasn't amazing last year. He was injured when he got here, and he re-injured himself versus the Eagles in Week 16, and he just didn't look right last year, right? So, I was hoping that, he would have been in here, OTAs early, getting used to the defensive playbook more. But, as long as he's here for mandatory minicamp, which he should be, and obviously training camp, which everybody will be here for training camp, then I really have no big issue with it. But I'm expecting big things. We're all expecting big things out of Lattimore this year, and hopefully he delivers. So those are the 3 guys that sat out today. Comment down below your thoughts on Terry, Tunsil, and Lattimore sitting out from OTAs today and probably for the remaining OTA practices. I expect Tunsil and Lattimore to return for mandatory minicamp. As for Terry, we shall see. Depends whether or not his contract extension is done by then. So once again, comment down below your thoughts on these three guys sitting out of practice today. Didn't get really any play-by-play tweets from any of the beat reporters. Zach Shelby did put two out, and he said that Trey Amos did stand out today, which is really, really good to hear. He had two, actually only had one interception, but he almost had two interceptions today. He had one on Jaden Daniels, and that was with him covering Michael Gallup. Jeremy Reeves also had a pick on Jaden Daniels. He was covering Michael Gallup as well. And then Amos almost had another pick on Sam Hartman, and he just dropped it, I'm pretty sure, but he was close to getting his second interception of the day. So sounds like Trey Amos is standing out, which is really, really good to hear. Have high expectations for him as, second round pick, and he will probably be starting across from Marshawn Lattimore, which will allow Mikey to move back into the inside. So super excited to see what Amos does this year. And then real quick, I want to talk about some of the things that DQ, Cliff, and Jaden said today at their press conferences. Starting with Cliff. Cliff said that he liked that. Obviously, we added more depth at O-line this offseason. Really going to help the offense. And he said that it'll allow him to open up the playbook even more, which that is 100% factual, because obviously when your quarterback has more time to throw, he'll be able to get it to, his receivers, right? So, that's just a great thing to protect Jaden and add more depth to the O-line to make sure he's protected, and to not only make sure he's protected, but to also allow Cliff to open up the playbook even more. So, obviously, you love that for sure, and Cliff loves that. Cliff has also noticed that Jaden's arm strength has improved, which is really great, man, because I'm not going to lie, last year, I was shocked by how strong Jaden's arm was. Like, coming out of college, I knew he didn't have a weak arm, but I didn't think it was as strong as some people were saying. But he made some really good throws, some really good deep balls last year, man. I mean, the one versus the Browns to Terry on the run, like, that was an insane throw. I did not know he could throw the ball that far for real, right? The one against the Bengals, the first deep bomb to Terry, that 59 or 60 yarder, like, that was an absolute bomb. So Jaden, his arm strength just keeps improving according to Cliff, which is really, really good to hear. He said that, he's seen some growth in Jaden's muscles, right? He's still obviously going to be that same lean guy. That's just his build, but obviously he can add some muscle. And Jaden himself in his press conference said that, he has been in the gym, and, obviously you can see the difference a little bit in his muscles for sure. And those are mainly the things. Also, Cliff talked about Debo and Jalen Lane, talked about their versatility, obviously their run after catch ability, talked about Debo being one of the best competitors he's seen as a coach. So he has a lot of admiration for Debo. And he said that Jalen Lane, they've challenged him, they've moved them around at different spots, and he's done a really good job of progressing thus far. So super excited to see those two. So that's basically the gist, or some of the things I really wanted to talk about from Cliff's presser. Next, I want to talk about Jaden's presser, and Jaden basically just talked about keeping the main thing, and that's improving day by day, seeing how, he and the team can get better. And that's what I love about Jaden, right? He did take the opportunity to, reflect on this past season and what it was and how amazing it was. And obviously he admitted that it was an amazing season, but now it's time to move forward and see how he can get better each and every day. And that's Jaden's mentality, how he can get better each and every day, which I absolutely love about him, is what we all love about him, right? So Jaden's just looking to get better each and every day, obviously building a relationship with the guys they brought in, the O-linemen and Connerly and Tunsil, obviously Debo, Jalen Lane, those receivers, right? So, and also it helps that guys like Cliff Kingsbury, Tavita Pritchard, David Blau, sorry, my bad, David Blau. But those guys are coming back, right? So keeping that continuity on the offensive coaching staff, the guys that helped Jaden last year together to run it back with him, yeah, that's just amazing, right? So basically the gist of what Jaden talked about today, once again, was just keeping the main thing, the main thing, and that is getting better each and every day. And then quickly here, talking about what DQ said at his presser. He talked about a variety of things. He did briefly speak on, Terry, Lattimore, and Tunsil not being at OTA practices. And he just said that, it's not for everyone. Like, again, not all players actually participate in OTA practices. They're voluntary, right? It's just about keeping an open line of communication, keeping communication, and that's what Lattimore, Tunsil, and Terry have done. They've communicated with DQ, which is really, really good to hear. And Terry did show up to phase 1 and phase 2 of OTAs. He's just not participating in phase 3 of OTAs. So Quinn did say that Terry has had a great offseason thus far. Quinn said it's great to retain all of your coaching staff, and it is a big deal. It's pretty rare, and he's right. Like, when you have the success that we did this past season, it's very common that a lot of your coaches get poached. And the fact that we had none of our coaches poached, I think we only had like one coach poached, that's just incredible, man. Now, obviously, next year, if we have another successful season, yeah, we'll probably have a good amount of guys off our coaching staff poached, but just to be able to keep all the guys we had last year on our coaching staff here for another year, it's awesome, man. So really good to hear. Quinn said Sam Cosmi has been hitting all the markers in his recovery thus far, so that is really, really good to hear, man. Hoping for a speedy recovery for Cosmi. We'll see if he'll be able to go for week 1. Right now, it's a long way to go. Hard to tell, but if he is, then that would be amazing for sure. That's basically what DQ talked about in today's presser. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts on day 1 of phase 3 OTAs for the Commanders. Commanders log episode 4, I'm pretty sure. This will probably be the draft episode, so that'll probably be a very long episode, and it comes out at 7 p.m., so make sure y'all check that out, and I'm definitely going to be checking it out for sure, man. We have been waiting for that draft episode, so should be fun to watch. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.